America is strong and free today and has grown to be a beacon of liberty the world over, in part because of leaders who dared to do great things and carried the vision of our founders forward. And among those leaders, 46 men who served as President of the United States. Two of them include Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan. Both rose from humble beginnings to lead the free world. How did they view America, and what would be their recipe for our future success? Let's ask two people who've got a pretty good idea. Christopher Nixon Cox is the grandson of President Richard Nixon, and Ashley Reagan Dunster is the granddaughter of President Ronald Reagan. Good to see you both. Both of your grandfathers came from very humble beginnings. They lived through the Depression. They both served in World War II. Ashley, to you first. How do you think those experiences shaped Ronald Reagan's views about America and leadership?
I think, my grandpa's one of the number one things. It's funny, I was at his ranch last week a few weeks ago, speaking to some high school kids, and being up at his ranch where he was known as the Western White House when he was in office, just kind of reaffirmed everything he believed in. He believed in hard work. He believed in there's humbleness, in you're not above doing anything for somebody else. And just the way, and up at the ranch is where he built so many relationships with people. We've seen that during his presidency, the people he took up to the ranch. And so just kind of what grounded him is what allowed him to build these really incredible relationships, which allowed him to do so much when he was in office.
Chris, same question to you, because hardship was a defining feature of President Nixon's youth.
That's absolutely right. My grandfather had five brothers. Two died before they were 21, so the family suffered tragedy. Of course, he went through the Great Depression. His father's lemon ranch in California failed. He made a living as a grocer. But in 15 short years, from the beginning of the Great Depression to 1946, my grandfather became a congressman. 4 years later, a senator, then vice president, lost the presidency, lost the governorship, then won the presidency in 1968.
Yeah.
It's a story of resilience, and it's a story of the promise of America, that anyone in America can succeed, no matter what your beginnings, no matter who your father was. Anyone in America can take advantage of the promise of the country. And that's the genius of our country, and something that my grandfather always loved and really believed in.
Chris, I want to stick with you. Your grandfather, you said, elected president in 1968. That was a very tumultuous time for this country. We had the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy, riots against the Vietnam War. But 4 years later, he won 49 states. How do you think, quickly for me, how do you think he was able to sort of rally the country behind him?
There's a great book about my grandfather, and the name of it is One of Us. And I think the genius of my grandfather is that he really understood the average American, the common working man, and he connected with them. And the working man felt in my grandfather a kinship. I think that was most manifested by my grandfather's silent majority speech, where he went over the heads of the liberal establishment in the East Coast of the United States. He went over the head of all the liberal newspapers and TV anchors. And he spoke directly to the people about why American values were important, about why defending American values around the world were important. And that really resonated with people. He had a connection that was really unbreakable with that silent majority. And that's what propelled him to victory in 1968 and in 1972.
Ashley, something I think I and a lot of our viewers remember from your grandfather's presidency was the tremendous sense of patriotism and pride among Americans as he shepherded the world through the Cold War against the Soviets. What lessons can we learn from your grandfather that could rekindle that kind of love for America that has fallen off in certain corners of our politics and with young people?
I mean, I think similar to what Chris was saying and speaking on, I think my grandpa had an excellent way of being able to bring people together. He spoke to the people that were raising their families, buying groceries, putting gas in their cars, working every day. And he really had a way of speaking to those people and making them feel hopeful. And he also had a way of, which is why he was able to win 49 states for his second term, is he had a way of reaching across the aisle, working with the other side, figuring out ways to come together in order to make it successful so young families, our youth, could really, grow up and feel like America was a beacon of light, a beacon of hope for them.
Yeah, largest tax cut in American history.
Yeah.
Christopher Nixon Cox, Ashley Reagan Dunster, thank you so much, and happy America 250. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Happy 4th.
Thanks, Tom. Happy 4th.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.